guys, I know it's been a long time since I've done a video, but I wanted to go ahead and do my best books of February and March. This week I'm actually going to record 2 books back to back. One will be my best books of the month and the second will just be stacking the shelves. I do not have my ring light on today, but it's very bright and snowy outside today, which we just had a whole bunch of days of almost 90-degree weather, 3 or 4 days in a row, and now it's 30 degrees and snowing again. So strange Minnesota. I would like to say typical, but I think it's a slightly stranger than normal, but that's okay. I did skip my best books of February last month because I just didn't have a lot to talk about. But I will combine that with my best books of March this month. And I know this is coming out a little bit late. I've just had other priorities lately rather than making videos. Okay, so getting into it, I had 3 books I read in February that I really enjoyed. The first of those was The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This I actually gave 4.5 stars to, not quite 5 stars. But as I said, I didn't have a ton of books I really enjoyed in February, so I thought I would include it. This was a really intriguing book about like some characters through time who end up being interconnected by a specific event, and I can't really say a lot about it. It has some historical elements to it, some kind of parallel reality, time travel elements to it as well. And again, I'm not gonna say a lot too because of spoilers, but I actually listened to this audiobook. I thought the audiobook was very well done, and I really enjoyed how everything came together. At first you're like, I don't understand why I am hearing from these weird different characters, but then the way everything came together was very clever and very seamless. In some ways this reminded me a little bit of Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. It's just kind of a similar thing. You have like a lot of characters with a lot of different storylines across a lot of different times, and then everything kind of comes together in the end. So I really enjoyed that. Again, I probably would give like the first half of that book like 4 stars and the second half 5 stars, but because it was a little slow and a little confusing at the beginning, but I did enjoy it. All right, the second book I read and I absolutely loved in February is The Magician's Daughter by H.G. Perry. I have actually had some of Perry's books on my list to read, but never really gone back and read them. So this was a good opportunity to read one of Perry's books. I got it for review. I absolutely love this book. It's about a girl who's being raised on an island by a magician. Things happen. She has to like leave the island and go back into the world. And it was just a very fun book about magic and adventure. And it had a lot of neat elements about kind of like making your own family and those kind of things as well. So I thought it was beautifully written. I really enjoyed it. It was such a fun read, but just had a lot of other elements I like too, like, as I said, family, adventure, magic, very fun. It made me really want to pick up some of Perry's other books, although most of the other books have kind of mediocre reviews in general, and this one seems to be kind of exceptionally good for this author, so hopefully this is a sign of future books to be written by that author. The last book I really read and loved was Legends in Lattes by Travis Baldree. I know this one has been getting quite a bit of discussion. It is labeled as a cozy fantasy, and that is definitely what it is that it's about a ogre who's an ex-mercenary who decides to quit her job as a mercenary and open up a coffee shop in a small town where nobody even knows what coffee is. Again, this one had a lot of good stuff about like friendship and like finding one's place in life, and characters that are stereotyped certain ways doing atypical things for those stereotypes, and just kind of about making like a home for a whole bunch of people who are a little bit different than what they're expected to be in this one place. So it was very fun, lots of humor, and I really did enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing what Baldree writes next. I know cozy fantasy has kind of been a thing this winter into spring, and I do enjoy that quite a bit. I would say The Magician's Daughter is a little bit like that too, like kind of a cozy fantasy type feel. All right, so those were the books that I read and really enjoyed in February. There were 4 that I read and enjoyed a lot in March, so I'll get into those. The first one was Lighter Than My Shadow by Katie Green. This is a graphic novel memoir. written by Green, who kind of goes through her struggles. Well, she goes through her struggles with her eating disorder. So she has an eating disorder, and it kind of just goes through her life and how she's trying to, she has ups and downs. She struggled with eating even as a kid, even though nobody really thought that was that odd at that time, and how people could be very dismissive of her issue and things like that. And I think the thing I really liked about this is just how she portrayed it with the graphic novel portions with her illustrations, and how she does really get into, like, this is not, oh, I did it, I defeated it, or or this one. It's just kind of a lifelong struggle for her. And so she has good times and bad times, and times where she thinks she's, doing better, and then she does worse, like and just how, like, even her background and her family's always supportive and trying to help her, but this is like a mental thing she's struggling with, and she needs to figure out how to deal with this. And having support from others is helpful, but it is kind of an internal struggle. And the look at just how it affects everyone around her as well was really fascinating. So if stuff like that is interesting to you, or you potentially struggle with a similar issue, I would definitely recommend checking that out. I thought it was just really, really well done. All right, the next one I really enjoyed in March is very different from a memoir about eating disorders, and that is Backpacking Through Bedlin by Shauna McGuire. This is the 12th book in the Encrypted series. This is the second book from Alice's point of view, and I just really enjoy her as a character and all her, like, parallel reality hopping and all this craziness. I continued to really, really enjoy this series and absolutely love that book. So if you enjoy kind of more action-driven, humorous urban fantasy, I would definitely give the Encrypted. The whole series is very well done. Again, the series is, portions of it I've done from different characters' points of view. So you start with, like, Verity Price, and then you go into like Alex Price, and then like Sarah Zelby, and so these ones have been from Alice's point of view. So yeah, I continue to really enjoy that series, and I hope that she writes a lot more books in it. The third book that I really enjoyed in March was The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Jennifer Lynn Barnes has been a little bit hit or miss for me. I really enjoyed her Natural series, but like some of the other series she has written, I wasn't as big of a fan of. But this Inheritance Games was really well done. It's a contemporary fiction novel, young adult fiction novel, about a girl who suddenly finds out that she's inherited everything from this billionaire. And one of the stipulations of her getting this money is that she has to live in the house, like in the manor, with the grandchildren, the 3 grandsons of this billionaire, for at least a year before she finally gets the money. But there's a whole huge mystery and puzzle around, like, why was she selected to inherit this money? And the grandfather who passed away, the billionaire, he loves puzzles and games. And so there's just like some really fun mystery stuff going on here, some very intricate puzzles and all of that. And I just think it's very well put together. I enjoyed it. I actually finished the second book not that long ago and really enjoyed that one as well too. So, and again, The Inheritance Games was one I had I had been wanting to read for a while, but just never got around to it. So I'm very happy I finally read it. And then the last book on the list that I really read and enjoyed in March, and again, this is completely different from everything else on the list, and that is Gina and the Last City on Earth, book 9 in the Hilo graphic novel series. This is a middle grade series about a robot boy named Hilo that comes to Earth from space and helps defeat monsters. The most recent books have been more about Gina, who is one of the friends Hilo makes on Earth, and she finds out she has magical powers. So some events in the last book made it so they, like, plunged Earth into a magical parallel reality of Earth, and this book deals with that. I think these are they're nice books. They're fun. There's good, like, friends and family and stuff in there. The illustrations are bright and colorful and cheery, and they're just always kind of a fun, cheerful read. I used to read these with my son. He is now 16 and does not read them anymore. But I still enjoy them, and so I will continue reading the series. And I actually think I would recommend them for both adults and kids because they're just such a fun time to read. So those are the 7 books that I read and really enjoyed in February and March. I have not been reading as much this year, and I'm okay with that. It just means I have less to go through and less to do videos on. I have mentioned I have been working a lot on doing, monitoring improving my diet some and doing weightlifting again a lot. And so it takes a lot of time and effort. And so very much focused on that. We are also doing a lot of work on our house right now. Our house is about 7 years old, and there's just some things that need to be done. We need to like repaint some walls. The carpet that came with the house wasn't very good, and it's getting pretty destroyed by our cats on the stairs, so we're getting that replaced. My husband wanted to put a door on his office. And then if you live in Minnesota, the spring brings just a lot of stuff that needs to get done. So we're trying to get someone out to have someone clean the windows every spring. We need to get our blacktop re-asphalted. We need to get spring cleanup done, which is all the leaves that kind of fell down and they got snowed on, so that we didn't have time to get them up in the fall. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be dealt with in the spring. We have to get the winter tires changed off the car and all that. So it's always pretty busy. And then in addition to that, my son is actually studying for his AP exams. He is a sophomore in high school, but he did take 2 college level courses, and those are coming up in May. So we're trying to help him as we can with studying for that. And he's got a big project to do for that, and make sure that he has any of the support that he needs. And he's being hardcore recruited by colleges already. And so we're talking about I know he's only a sophomore, but he's already talking about he wants to do a couple college visits this summer, and then what he wants to do between his junior and senior year, and prepping for ACT and all of that. So just stuff has been busy, and my priorities have not been in reading right now. I have been reading. I do still enjoy it, but I'm just not reading as much. So anyways, there you go. I'm going to end this video now and do a video on stacking the shelves while I have everything set up. I guess, what else have we been doing? I don't know. Besides the weird snow we have now, which no one's really excited about. No one was really excited that it went from 50 degrees to 90 degrees either, because it's a lot to adjust to suddenly. And then to go back down to 30 degrees, it's just, I don't know. It's very, very Minnesotan. We bitch about it, but we deal with it. Yeah, and I don't know, I have a lot to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot of great books that you read, had a lot of great books you read in February, March. And if you have any you'd like to recommend, please comment down below. Always looking for great new books to read. And I will talk to you, next week for Stacking the Shelves. I'm going to record now my Stacking the Shelves and post it next week for the books I got in the last month. And then I will try to continue to at least do these best books of the month and a monthly Stacking the Shelves video. All right, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.